Alrighty, welcome back to E2W Coast Sports. We are talking the Warriors win over the Pelicans last night. What a win. What a swing there too as well. I can't believe how bad of a first half that was. The Warriors were just all out of sorts. Honestly, one of the worst first halves I've seen from the Warriors in years. They weren't playing defense. They couldn't hit shots of their own. They were all out of sorts with the refs' calls, the technical on Draymond. Just all the reviews, I feel like no one got in a rhythm on the Warriors, and the Pels just fed off of it. They were down 17 at half, and it sort of felt like, all right, game's over. Game's over. We're done. On to the next one. We're going to be a bottom feeder team in the play-in tournament, and we're going to, just have to beat whoever to even get in the playoffs. But Steph Curry said no. He said no in the second half. I will not take this. Not too much else to say on the first half other than it was bad basketball. GP2 looked a little rusty, a couple bad fouls there. Dante's still struggling a little bit, but he was definitely better this game overall. Other than Steph, Clay, Poole, whoever, they couldn't hit a shot. Clay was chucking. It seemed like he was a little bit in his head as well. But Steph quietly had 17 in the first half, and he said, I'm going to more than double that. Finished with 38 total on the game. Let's just jump to that second half there because, man, what a second half that was. So definitely they were fired up. They went on an 8-0 run to start the second half, so at least we knew, hey, they're locked in. They're going to compete. This is modern basketball. 17-point lead doesn't mean anything anymore. Let's erase this, and let's get this win. After the altercation with Brandon Ingram, Draymond was also locked in. He was actually a game-high plus 26, and he just played amazing defense. There was one sequence where he was actually out on the perimeter helping. He got on a switch. A Pelicans player beat their man, and Draymond met them at the rim. And he sprinted from the three-point line to the rim and was able to actually contest a big lane drive there by one of the Pelicans. He was locked in. He was definitely the heart of the team last night. He was fired up. He was barking at anyone. He was shit-talking the Pels. It was great. It was great. Love seeing that type of Draymond when he's really focused, and super excited that we got the win when we did because, had they would have lost this game, like I said earlier, they would have been fighting even to just be in the play-in tournament. Potentially a 9 or 10 seed, and it just would have been such a harder road. And I think overall the morale of the team would have been sort of busted too had they lost this game after losing against Minnesota the other night. Just an exciting win. Let's touch on Jordan Poole again. Man, he is just continuing this monster streak of really efficient offense, especially when we need it. He was plus 16 off the bench. He had 21 points. And he was doing every little thing that we needed him to do. There was a lineup with him and Curry, and it seemed unstoppable. Curry or whoever was Poole or whoever was the lead ball handler there, and they were screening for each other. They were getting good looks. Jordan Poole was getting downhill. It just was, it was really impressive to see. Jordan Poole is a legit third guard, third option for this team. He's been shooting the three ball a lot better. He's still taking those stupid step back threes or long threes, but when his feet is set, it's actually a decent shot for Jordan. So just really excited that he came through again. We needed him as much as we needed Steph in that second half. Let's not bury the lead here. Steph was a monster. Finished with 38 points. I think he was 8 for 16, 8 for 17 from three. I knew that was coming. Knew there was going to be a big explosion from Steph behind the arc. He had one over McCollum towards the end. That was huge. He had a really nice pass. It was almost like that Luka pass just from the other day where he was sort of trapped on the baseline, saw Clay at the top of the three, was able to whip it sort of one hand around. Clay shot like a 28-footer, probably 27-footer. That was essentially, to seal the game there. And Warriors just executed. I was telling my wife that I struggle with the after quarter interviews with the coaches, I don't see the value in them at all. I think they're sort of just a waste of time. They seem a little antiquated, should probably just do away with them. But it's funny because the Pelicans coach, he was like, who's going to be able to execute down the stretch is going to win this game. And guess what? It was the Warriors. They played solid defense in the fourth quarter. They were shooting super well. They were getting good looks. They were getting dunks at the rim from Jonathan Kuminga or layups by Draymond. They were just, it was vintage Warriors second half, close them out. We can't let our foot off the gas here. We have to get this win against Spurs on Friday, and then we got to go back on the road. But I like the effort. I like that they didn't just roll over. They knew how big of a game this was. So super excited for this. Before we go, I just kind of want to note on a couple things from the Pels. Brandon Ingram is incredible. I'm seeing now more than ever the comparison to KD. His mid-range is automatic. He's super long, so it's hard to even contest those shots. I mean, we had Dante, we had GP2, we had Draymond. He was still getting buckets. And he is just an incredible offensive player. I think he's having a really good stretch here too as well. I think he's shooting, like 60% or something, like 55% from the field, and he's scoring like 30 points a game over the past 10 or something like that. Something crazy. The other young player that I think is potentially up for most improved is Trey Murphy. He was 5 for 6 with 21 points. He was 5 for 5 at the free throw line. He was 4 for 4, I think, behind the arc. He is an incredible shooter. He's going to be super valuable for this team as sort of a third option for shooting. Brandon Ingram, McCollum, Trey Murphy. If they ever get Zion back, they're going to have a lot of offensive weapons there. I like what they're doing with the young players. They're really long, great defenders. I think the announcers even mentioned they were top 5 in defensive efficiency. So, yeah, they have a good team. Last thing to note is just Zion. They kept panning to Zion on the bench there. I think he's going to be chronically hurt unless he loses a significant amount of weight. I think his tendons, his joints, his ligaments, all those things that aren't necessarily muscle dependent are not going to be able to carry his frame for much longer. His latest injury was the hamstring non-contact. He's been out for months because of it. And I think that's just going to be who he is. And again, unless he loses some weight there. But it's always fun to see Zion out on the court. I wish the best for him. I hope he figures it out because the league is better when he's out there. But I don't think he is going to just magically stay healthy when he gets back on the court unless things change. All right, that's all I have for now. Awesome win by the Warriors. Spurs on Friday. Let's get this game. See you guys later. Bye.